السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد. طبعا كل عام ونادي نيوكاسل بخير. الذكرى 129. طبعا احنا امس بدينا باللغة العربية واليوم نعمل حلقة باللغة الإنجليزية. Happy birthday Newcastle. Wish you all the best, and hopefully now this especially made for anniversary for Newcastle, and it's written 129. We wish a happy year, and hopefully we will combine this with trophies and Champions League. We would like to welcome our tour guide, our friend, our professor of Newcastle, Miss Sheikh Dave. Welcome, Sheikh Dave.
Hello, hi everybody. Hi, وليد. You alright, mate?
I'm alright, very alright.
Good lad, good lad.
Yeah, happy to see you, and you are like my brother. I don't see my brother only on the shows.
Yeah.
Because we can become busy and yeah.
I just wish I had more time in the day. I just wish the day was longer. No, we need to have more time in the day. So yeah, very busy. And I notice you're very busy with lots of shows.
Yes. So right, 129. We're gonna talk a little bit about history, and I know you prepare good stuff. I download it all here.
Right.
And before we start, this was from yesterday. The guy on the right is Badr Ma'rifi from Kuwait. He's a very senior Newcastle fans, and of course the Saudi Sheikh Dave with the white Khutra, our guest for tonight, special night. So yesterday we shared some important knowledge, and it came to my attention this player, and I believe he's one of the reasons that West End and East End come together. Mm-hmm. His name is Tom Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can tell us about him?
I can't tell you much about him at all. You know, I can certainly find out, but I've got me.
Okay, he's actually he's the one starts the he moved from the West End to the East End club for better offer, and since he went to the East End, the team of West End become more deterioration and become worse, and especially financially, comparing to the East End. So when he transferred there, and the West End become more have a lot of issues with the financial. They try to reach the East End and rent the St. James Park, etc., which leads to the merge the two clubs together. So this is one of the reason. It was interested for me. Interested.
It was, the West End club had the better players, but their ground wasn't very good. Whereas where East End had St. James's Park, and they had they were very good players. So when West End came across, they brought all their players with them, and where East End had all the better assets, that's when they set up. So Newcastle and West End were were wound up in 1881, and East End were formed in became 1882. But they weren't accepted into the Football League until 1892. You know that part of they came together. It was a decision that the East End applied to become part of the Football League, but we only got one vote. Typical. Back even back in the olden days, there was a conspiracy against Newcastle United. So yes, the history was But do you know before that, there was a game on Leazes Park, or the park behind Leazes Park. It's called Hunter's Moor, and it was just a group of lads who came together.
The one who play cricket?
There were two cricket teams. Yes, they played cricket, and they came together to have a football match, and there was 8 against 9, and obviously the team with 9 players actually won the game 2-0. But that was when there was the first club was formed at that point in 1877. But that was like they were just a group of lads playing in Newcastle, and I think they were called the Tyneside Association, or the Tyneside Association. That's what they became known as. But yeah, that was even back in 1877, and then 1892, there was a conspiracy against Newcastle United, and we had to merge the two teams, East and West. And when we did that, we became Newcastle United, but we still weren't recognised until 1895. Even though we were playing in the league in 1892, the FA, the Football League, wouldn't recognise Newcastle until 1895. Because, like everything with Newcastle, there's a conspiracy against people from the northeast. Don't know what it is. Don't know why they're always picking on us.
I want to know, because I was digging a lot with the history, and I reached some information, and some information I didn't. So one of my concern, why it was black and white, why they choose this color. And I see that you give us here, we'll show now with the fans, a lot of t-shirts. We're going to talk about a lot of t-shirts. So why do you think because I know, as I know, East End was red and white, and West End was blue and red.
Yes, it was like a black, blue, red, and red. What it was the East End team. They had their second strip was black and white. The
East End.
They had an away strip which was black and white, which had navy blue shorts. So what they decided was, if they were going to merge if they were merging the football club, rather than have the team playing in the blue and red or the red and white, they decided to move completely away. So Newcastle United became a completely new progressive look. So they adopted the black and white stripes of the away strip. So that became our home strip, because they didn't want to clash with the two clubs that existed before. So they didn't want to be red and white, and they didn't want to be blue and red. So they chose black and white. But for a number of years, they didn't play in black shorts. They played in navy blue shorts, which you'll see from the pictures. They'll show you that from the years that they played in the navy blue. So rather weird looking strip, but it wasn't for a few years later that they started wearing the black shorts and the black socks.
Brilliant stuff. Sheikh Dave, I want to ask you, we know the Google and Wikipedia and news website, but you Georges have, I believe you have stories about the history of the club. Maybe it's not written there. If you could share some info or some story, maybe you come to your mind. Or this is very hard question.
Yeah, well, we have a long history, but you know,
something regarding maybe the foundation.
Foundation. Wait. Like say the only thing that comes to mind with me with the foundation is the fact that, you know, the West End.
You know, like a repeated story. Sometimes your father, your grandfather, telling you some stories or share maybe some stuff.
Well, it's just like Newcastle's always had a large following, and even back in the olden days, Newcastle would take. We always had a lot of supporters who would travel away to away games before you were allowed to go to away games. So Newcastle supporters always had a lot of supporters going away. Before
you weren't allowed to go?
You weren't allowed, no.
Why? This is a new thing. Why?
Because obviously in them days, I mean, going back in the ancient days, as it were, a lot of people did a lot of traveling. So football grounds were mainly for the home supporters. Very rarely got anybody from away grounds going, which is why when you had the FA Cup games back in the early days, back in 1910, FA Cup games, you had 100,000 people, 120,000 people at Wembley Stadium, because a lot of them weren't from Newcastle, a lot of them weren't from the away team. They were from people who were in London. So Newcastle supporters would go away. So it was just people in London who would then choose to support whatever team was actually on the pitch. Very rare that you'd actually have fans from that place going down. You might have the board of directors and stuff like that, but you certainly wouldn't have fans. So the fans in those days, 100,000 people, would tend to be made up of people from London, you know, which is why when you see if there's a game in the FA Cup games, when the team scores, everybody's waving the handkerchiefs in the air. You know, everybody's waving the handkerchiefs in the air because that's what they did. But if the opposition scored, the fans would do exactly the same. They were all cheering for both teams. You know, it was more like a spectacle than it was a rivalry. So back in the old days, yeah, very rare that you got a lot of fans traveling away. You couldn't have you got to think on. You can't have, back in 1910. You wouldn't get 50,000 Newcastle supporters going down from the northeast to London. They just couldn't afford it. So yeah, a lot of the fans at those early Wembley finals were not Newcastle supporters. They were just football supporters. So
this picture had a hit today, and it's kind of scary. Time traveling Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe some relation, or maybe what do you think?
There's a definite look. I think the mustache is a bit, but there's a bit of a look about it, isn't there? You know what I mean? There's a bit of a look.
This is just discovered today. Yeah. Or maybe been talked before.
I've never seen it being linked, but you can that's something I've never looked at. Yeah, you can see.
No, sorry. This is the picture I think we're taken for.
Yeah.
So the one on the right or left, and the right of the picture. Usually he said right on the left of the picture. But it was very interested, really. And could you see it? Some similarity?
I can see it. If you put that mustache on Shearer, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
Yeah, exactly. I wish if Alan Shearer give comment. All right. This picture I shared just quickly. It was last year for me. Same day.
Mm-hmm.
Same day I was promoting one of my shows last year.
You got black hair? Okay. You got black hair?
Yeah, that's before the takeover.
You haven't got your Gaza hair. You need your Gaza hair.
All right. So what usually Dave Newcastle doing in this special day? Is it just by tweeting and wishing the club, or there's maybe kind of celebration, maybe some offers? Because I think this is, and it should be a special day.
No, it's not something.
And like me, I'm celebrating now, and
yeah.
But I wish if I can share with you some of the stuff.
Yeah, I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet.
This is special cake for the Saudi Supporter Club in Sofiq Cafe, the Supporter Club place.
You're starting a tradition. Because that's not something that we carry through. We recognise that Newcastle were formed on the 9th of December, but the only time we actually celebrated was on the 125th. You know, when they had the special strip with the 125 years on the badge underneath.
Only. So maybe next year when 130.
Yeah, we're going to get to 130. Yeah, maybe next year. But they don't celebrate every year. But maybe you're starting a tradition, وليد.
I think we should, because I read the history of a club. It's very, very amazing. That's yeah.
Do you know Newcastle is? I think Newcastle are the only club who have remained at their original stadium. You know, we're St James's Park. It's always
one of the 10th, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that also in 1892, Liverpool were formed as well? So
Newcastle older than Liverpool.
Yeah. Same year, 1892. Yeah, when Newcastle and Liverpool were formed in the same year. Liverpool weren't a very good club back then.
No, but Newcastle 1881 and 82, the West and East End.
Yeah, 1881. Yeah, but that's when we were formed. That's when we actually came into being with the West End and East End. But Liverpool were actually formed in the same year that we actually got accepted into the Football League. It was 1892, the same year as Liverpool. So, but Liverpool back then weren't a very good club. Everton were the main club in Liverpool back then. So yeah, how things change over the years, you know. Newcastle were the strongest team in the English leagues before the First World War, and if the First World War hadn't have happened, you know, Newcastle could have been one of the greatest teams ever. You know, we all consider us to be one of the greatest teams, but we were head and shoulders above anybody else back in those days, because what was happening is you had a lot of people who were coming from Scotland. You had all the best players who were in Scotland coming down to Newcastle to play for Newcastle, which is why we had a lot of Scottish players playing for Newcastle at the time, which is why we were one of the best teams.
Dave, yesterday with Badr, we were discussing important matter, and I wish if you could maybe add some explanation or more. You know, take it as you said in Newcastle, take it from horse mouth. Right? We were wondering why Sir John Hall sold the club to Mike Ashley, as we were wondering, because
it's all
different sales. So we want to hear from you.
Yeah, it was all to do with putting Newcastle in the ownership of the fans. So John Hall actually launched one of the first share issues of Newcastle United. He wanted the fans to own part of the club. You know, we had the opportunity back when Sir John Hall had the club, but it was at a time when there was a lot of austerity in the UK, and people didn't have the money. We couldn't come forward with the money, and there was very little very little shares actually sold. I bought shares. My father-in-law bought shares. But I can afford to buy £100 worth of shares. My father-in-law, he bought £100 worth. No, he bought £500 worth of shares. But in the end, the majority of shares were still owned by Sir John Hall. And he said that he could not continue to keep putting money into the football club. He didn't have the money to put in. So he then took the club back into private ownership. So the shares became worthless. My shares weren't with the paper they were written on. I'd spent £100 on shares. My father-in-law spent £500 on shares, and they weren't worth what they're written on. So that's when Sir John Hall then came to look for another buyer. So that's when he put the club up for sale. But don't forget, he also passed the football club on to a lot of the club shares onto his son, Douglas Hall. And he made the mistake of comparing Newcastle supporters. He called with all sorts of names. This is what owner, even before Mike Ashley, you had an owner who would say, Newcastle supporters would buy any old cheap tat, and the football strips that we were buying were absolutely rubbish, but he was happy because we would just buy them. And he then he compared Northeast women to dogs. So of course there was a lot of love lost between the fans and the halls. So when Sir John came to sell the club, he stepped down, but he still remained as the owner, and he sold a lot of his shares to Freddie Shepherd. And it was Freddie Shepherd who sold the club to Mike Ashley, not Sir John. Sir John just took her hands off. He sold his shares he kept a load of shares, but he was the first one to sell his shares to Mike Ashley. And then Freddie Shepherd, who was the main shareholder at the time, then sold his shares. Freddie Fletcher sold his shares. So that's when the football club changed hands with Mike Ashley. But as an ordinary fan, I got nothing back from the shares I held. My shares were worthless,
Okay. Christopher here have some point, and he asked us to join us.
Yeah, Chris.
So, yeah. Okay, I don't know how to do it because I don't want. Could you share his StreamYard link, because I'm afraid will have issue if I go out from the studio.
So I share it. I've got the link here.
Yeah, could you share it with Christopher, please? Thank you. So we'll have Christopher on, and of course we want to know more from about Newcastle.
Yeah,
of course, from Sheikh Dave. Sheikh Dave will tell us, because Christopher is in London, but I'm not sure about. We'll test him about
Chris. He's very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable, Chris.
Let's see. He said Abramovich and the new billionaire owners. I think this is, and one of the reasons feel Sir Hall that he can't compete and he must sell to compete with the big. But unfortunately, he sold it to a billionaire who is very extra careful with money. All right, Christopher, join us. Dave will send the studio link.
I know I've got him.
Yeah,
I know I've got him.
We'll do some advertisement. We'll share some videos, and we'll back with Chris.
I've got him now.
You should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June 1862 on a summer's afternoon. We took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, always smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We flew past Armstrong's factory and up to the Robin Adair, just gone into the real way.
I need cake.
Okay, just a minute.
Who's that? Oh, Chris.
Hi Chris, how are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
Hi,
little Jordi want to say
Who's that?
happy birthday. Well, happy birthday Newcastle.
happy birthday, Newcastle. Happy birthday, 129 years.
Good lad.
lads.
How are you, lad?
Well, lads. Well, lads. Well, lads. Is that your youngest one? Is that your youngest one?
خلاص خذ الصحن بس لا ينكسر شيل الصحن ودي هناك لا ينكسر.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hi Chris, how are you?
Sheikh Dave. How are you?
Sheikh Dave, yes. So you were saying, Chris, you were saying that because Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, it's actually weird if you think about it. There's kind of a weird parallel between the last two sales because Sir John Hall said that he, as Dave was saying, that he couldn't compete with the new foreign billionaires that were owning clubs like Abramovich at Chelsea, and he knew that to compete, he'd have to sell on to an owner that, and in the same way that Mike Ashley said, he needs to sell on to an owner that has one more zero at the end of his net worth. So Sir John Hall was a millionaire, but not a billionaire. And in the same way that Mike Ashley is a billionaire, but not a super billionaire or whatever these guys are calling them, quad or something. There's some deca. So there's this new term in life. If you worth 10 billion, you're called a deca. So Mike Ashley's not a deca. Like Man City, like Sheikh Mansour or whatever. Abu Dhabi. So then so then you have Saudi Arabia PIF that's worth upwards of 400 billion.
Yeah.
Not all.
The thing is, I mean, Sir John wasn't the man who sold the club to Ashley. It was Shepherd. Shepherd ultimately the one who sold the club to Ashley. Yeah. But Sir John was the one who tried. Sir John was the man who tried to put the club in the hands of the supporters.
Yeah.
Just at that time,
his son kind of took over his ownership.
So, Douglas took over, and like I mentioned to وليد, Douglas Hall then decided in his wisdom to diminish his ownership rights by calling Newcastle women dogs, and then saying Newcastle supporters would buy any old tat that he chose to put in front of them. He was making football shirts in Korea or India for 50 pence, and Newcastle supporters were paying £25 a shirt, and he was like over the moon.
Now he pays 65. God,
exactly.
But let's. I believe all this.
How much do the football shirts cost in Saudi? I know you can't get the Newcastle, but like if you go to the store and you buy Man City or Man United, how much does it cost in Riyal?
Usually, any sport, original sport, the normal price for any official shirt, the normal price is $100.
Okay, so it's
this is the normal. Sometimes up, sometimes down, but the original is $100.
So that's about commensurate with 65 pounds. Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
There's a company. I think there's a company who sell the shirts. I can't remember who it is, but they'll sell the shirt. They're selling the Newcastle's new shirt for £89, and it's an American company. I can't remember who it is, but they're selling them for £89. So that must equate to about $100. Is that right, Chris?
Maybe more.
Yeah.
It's depend either Nike, Adidas, Puma. It's depend also on the company and shipment and stuff. I was saying that regarding I think it's all John Hall, Sir John Hall, and Mike Ashley. It's all meant to be to have by consortium at the end. So I'm not. I'm happy it's come to our way in our direction. Okay. Speaking of the shirts,
I have a question shirt for you, Ali.
Okay, go on.
The question is, so of course our current sponsor is a gaming and gambling sponsor. Is there any pressure coming from the Saudi side? Normally you don't change the sponsor mid-season. Is there any pressure?
What? I tell you what, you go back to the thing I've sent to Al Waleed about football strips. We have changed our football strip in one season. I can't remember which season it was. We changed it 3 times because of the sponsorship changed.
I know. I think normally nowadays.
But they've done it on a couple of occasions in the past as well.
Yeah.
Where because the sponsors changed, they've then changed the strip or the front of the strip. Because I remember when Newcastle was owned by Newcastle Breweries, and the breweries had to stop sponsoring the football club. It was taken over by Greenhall Breweries, and the football club then issued every fan who bought a strip with the McEwen's logo on. They give them a stick-on patch to put across it. So rather than give them a new strip, they give them a stick-on patch to put over it.
It's kind of like what you see. I don't know if you guys already talked about this. I missed the beginning of the show, but if you see in the photo of the stadium without any Sports Direct, you still see they've taken out the 3D letters. But behind the 3D letters, it was almost like Mike Ashley painted Sports Direct on the east stand first, and then did the letters over that. So now that it's removed, you still see the outline.
You still see the outline because Chris, it was painted on originally. That's why. But then all the muck and the dirt that's accumulated has obviously created the outline. So
yes. And then of course, what remains the Newcastle United is not in the classic font, but is in the same style as Mike Ashley's Sports Direct in the italics. So hopefully the owners are canny and know that they've taken out everything else, but that is still in some ways a Sports Direct remnant as it was changed when he changed everything.
Back in 1974, 1973, when they changed 1976.
Okay,
is when they changed the badge to NUFC.
Yeah,
and that was supposed to be progressive and modern. But within a few years, they had to go back to the old style.
Yeah.
So let's look at the new owners. And let's see what they bring in as merchandising, because I think there's every chance that they will follow the supporters' requests, and I think it could be good for the football club in terms of merchandising.
We're gonna talk about merchandise and stuff as well, because
you run the show, not me or Dave.
No, it's not like that. But it's just because we are gonna talk about the shirt. Dave prepared us a lot of shirts and stuff, so we'll talk about this one as well. Just answering your question, Chris. And after all, we know, I'm speaking. This is my opinion. I'm just a fan, and this is my opinion or a clarification.
Yeah.
I believe, the way it is, we respect the rules, we respect everything in UK. So we know that we are having 80% from a club in Premier League. So we respect the rules, everything acceptable in Premier League and England. We are following the same. So we don't have any pressure because we know this is the country of UK rules, and we are fine with that. As we are also, we respect, of course, or we expect people to respect our rules and laws. So this is never become a problem.
Okay.
This is not just about the gambling companies and stuff. This is applicable in all matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, the football club itself in Saudi Arabia, we're coming together as one people. You know what I mean? And we will respect what Saudi brings, and we will hope that Saudi will respect, that what Newcastle are all about. We have a history, but one thing you'll find about Newcastle supporters, وليد, is we don't like being taken a mug, and we don't like being made a mug of, and we've had sponsors in the past, and I'm referring to Wonga, which were a money lending company. A lot of football supporters in Newcastle were wholly against that. So we still have a lot of morals. We're a very moralistic supporting group, and we will respect whatever the PIF brings to Newcastle. And I think what will happen, because of the rules that are changing in the English law next year, where we can't have sponsors from betting companies, this will give us the opportunity to use things like Aramco or Saudi 2030 or Saudi Airlines. We will be able to bring that in, because that has to change by law. That has to change.
Yeah.
I think it's next season.
That's
So
good.
nobody will be allowed to be sponsored by a betting company.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
and we'll see that coming through. And certainly we won't go down the road of being sponsored by breweries again. But certainly I'm looking forward to something like Aramco or Saudi Vision 2030 or Saudi Airlines.
Have you heard any news about? Because we always see Sport Direct finally been taken off all the stadium, St. James Park. So have you heard anything? Because we know that in 4 or 5 days we should this ridiculous temporarily banned will be over, and I believe something it should be decided regarding this matter.
But the ban was the sponsorship ban's been extended, hasn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
Until mid of December.
I think middle of December.
I don't think gonna be extended again.
No.
I can't see them pushing it any further, because, like I said, the rules have got to change next year. The rules have got to change. So a lot of the football clubs, it doesn't matter who it is. If you look at the majority of football clubs in the Premier League are sponsored by betting companies.
Yes, yeah.
So they've got to go. So where are they going to get their money from? They're going to have to turn to their own in-house sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
They're going to have to bring their own money in. So when they put the block on Newcastle, they're going to have to put the block on everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen. They'll lift the ban, and then we'll be sponsored by Aramco, Saudi Vision. Bring it on.
Yeah. I keep hearing that's going to be there's going to be a new airline that's created by PIF, and that'll be our sponsor. It'll be like a new thing, so we want to advertise the new airline, so not Saudi, but something else besides Saudi.
I remember Chris when I write Twitter about our Saudi supporter club sponsor, and you just woke up and you read the message, you get it, you think it was for the club. Remember, Chris?
Well, now I'm a board member of the club. I would love to be a board member of NUFC, but that's maybe
Right. Yeah. He's got me on the board as well, but I don't know what I'm obliged to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to make a online meeting and decide. So.
I know. We've got the board has got to pay for its members, its board members, to come across the Saudi. Isn't that right, Chris?
Hopefully, let's raise some fund first.
Who else on the board? Mr. L?
Of course, he
Mr.
is.
L, yeah.
Yes, yeah, he is.
Okay, well,
it's written. All the names written on the website.
Oh, I haven't visited the website.
Never. I don't know what the Constitution says. So, Chris, it might be.
I know.
It might say I'm responsible for debts.
I know. There's a famous saying by an old American comedian called Groucho Marx, where he said, "I wouldn't want to be a member of any club that would have me." You and Dave and I on the committee. That's a good
exactly.
Story.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. I want now to ask you, lads. I don't know one of the things I discovered in Newcastle, and I think this is all among England as well. You very care much about the season wear or season. I don't know what season wear or season outfit of the club. It's like become seasonal. Every season is different.
Okay.
We have this here in Saudi Arabia, even with my team, but I don't believe. I'm not also talking about myself. I don't believe that it's few number of fans who really care about. We have different design. We are not that. Okay, we like to have our team new shirt, but not as level as Newcastle. When I saw this by my own eyes, when I witnessed this. So, what you can tell me about my concern? Start with you, Sheikh Dave.
Wait, the thing is, up until only a few years ago, Newcastle would launch a home strip. So you'd get a new home strip, and then the season after, you'd get a new away strip.
Yeah.
So you would get a strip a home strip every 2 years, and then you get an away strip every 2 alternative years.
Yeah.
So you weren't expecting parents to be forking out fortunes of money every season for 1, 2, and 3 strips. You know, because that's where it's at now. We have 3 strips. We have a home.
And the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper said you can find it. Even Dubravka can't find one for his own kids.
How وليد doesn't like the purple. I took him to the club shop and he says, "Oh, that's not a very nice colour."
Really? I said that? I didn't remember.
I'm a fan of the third one there, but I don't know. They like the parts where it goes out of alignment.
Yeah,
that kind of messes my eyes up.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
but I agree with you, وليد. You can't. This year, I think it's Brentford. Brentford have said, I'm sure it's Brentford. They've said that the strip that they launched last year is the strip they'll run with this year. So they've got that strip will be 2 years old by the time it's due for renewal, which is good because it means parents aren't having to buy.
Yeah, it's just a money grab by the clubs.
It is just a money grab.
It's like a Mike Ashley.
Also, this is me. This is me also. Maybe I'm not sure about the fans in this part. I love classic outfit, especially for my team in Saudi Arabia. I like some special design, maybe like 90s or 80s. It reminds me of a great legendary period of time. So I care to wear something. It reminds me the players at that time. But
Yeah.
I mean, like for every year have different shirts. This is, yani, for me, I think this is just as you say, David, just for business matter, yani, more likely.
Yeah, but if you go back to the football shirts that I've shared with you, one of the shirts on there is
we'll start. Okay, we'll start about it and continue, please.
Yeah, wait. The football shirts you can see there, Fenuf, are black or navy blue and red. And you see the second row down, and the blue and the blue and the maroon striped shirt.
Yeah.
You think that shirt is what used for the blue and white, the blue and red hooped one?
Yeah.
So that shirt was used. They used the same colours for the shirt from the David Ginola shirt that everybody loves.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the shirt. That shirt is what that's based on. That one.
And it was West End Newcastle starting
West
with.
End, yeah.
Yes.
But if you go to the next page down.
Yeah, but Chris, he will promote the shirt for us now.
Yeah. Oh, Chris has got the shirt, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Yes, he has.
Yeah. He will wear it. So this is for West End only, or what about the East?
West End. If you think, I think the East. I think the East
The
is
second?
further down.
The other one. This one, the East.
Yeah, this is East.
Ah.
And if you notice there, the East, they've also got they've got the blue and the maroon strip.
But this is different design, different colors.
Third one along. It's stripes rather than hoops. But that's what the shirt. The colours was what the shirt was based on. But if you look at the shirt next to it, the one next to it on the right-hand side, that very same shirt was used as an away shirt back in 2000, in the 2000 and I can't remember what year it was, but that strip was used again back in the 2000s.
Yeah.
The away shirt.
So I was just going to point out that there's a soccer shop. I think it's called like World Soccer Shop or something like that.
What is the shirt, Chris?
I'm about to show them. So my two favorite shirts, which are probably like the two modern classics in the Newcastle lineup. If you go try to buy them at a store, they are selling used ones for like 190 pounds, 190 quid for this one.
Yeah, that's right.
That collar.
Yeah.
And then this one, which is the follow-up to that.
Yeah, I call that the Kets Baya shirt.
Yeah.
Show me the first one, Chris.
Yeah, but I always think of so this is you'll hear this called the granddad collar because like as we have on the current year.
Yeah.
Granddad collar one.
Yeah, I have this similar shirt. Could you tell me exactly where is it? It is the testimonial or?
No, that was 1995, 96, wasn't it?
Yeah, 95, 96. Yeah, so they wore it to like 90.
Yeah, because I got here t-shirt. It was a gift from Keith Patterson. It's Alan Shearer shirt, and this is for the cafe. And it's I wasn't really sure, but I think it was from Alan Shearer wear it in testimonial.
Yes.
I think it's similar. The one you show me.
One. That's the same. That would be the letter on the back of this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because the back of the next one, which I have Shearer on it.
Yeah, the kid.
No, that's different.
Yeah, that's we call that the Kets Baya shirt.
Yeah, I think of Tino. I think of Tino against Barcelona in this shirt, scoring the hat trick.
Yeah.
No, I heard they had to put the shield on the back because if you just had the letter on the number, it was going to obscure the shirt. So they wanted to put the shirt on it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's one of my favorite shirts as well, Chris, as the Ginola blue and red hoop one.
Yes, exactly.
I don't like the collar on this one because it's like itchy and scratchy.
No, that's itchy and scratchy. Aren't they on The Simpsons? Aren't they on The Simpsons?
That's what I was talking about. It's remind you of a great period of time.
And then Dave, what do you think about when you for this one?
Well, no. See, I think Michael
Champions League as well.
Yeah,
Champions League.
It's a Michael Owen. Michael Owen.
I think I was wearing this shirt in Northern Ireland on my birthday, the day that Mike Ashley bought the club.
All right.
So this always reminds me of that I was, on my birthday was the transition from Freddie Shepherd and John Hall to Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
You can blame me for that.
Let's not forget though, Chris, and Newcastle supporters were overjoyed when Ashley took over, because we did expect money to be spent. We did expect the club to go on. Mm-hmm. And for the first year, Mike Ashley was good for the football club. He did a lot of connecting with the community. He did a lot of connecting with the fans. But a year later, it all fell apart. And we've got to remember that Mike Ashley, we did at one time believe in Mike Ashley. We did once. We did believe.
But as you were saying, I think this is my second favorite, along with the other Granddad color one.
Yeah,
because it's just a classic, and I can thank Keith Patterson for the inspiration for me getting this shirt, because he started wearing it on the Fab Four, and then I had to get it.
This is really a great one.
I had to get it. So then I wore it for the day of the protests in London, and here's the first photo. You can see in the background is Keith and Gordon Stein. So this was the first meeting this was the first time that Keith and Gordon Stein, the two backers of NCSL, ever met.
What a day it was.
Yeah. So there's Keith and Gordon behind my huge head.
I was there. I was there with you.
Yeah, I
know. Thank you, Chris, for bringing this shirt. Really nice and really amazing. Love them, really. Speaking just quickly before we come back to the shirts, by coincidence, I noticed Leicester and Napoli 3-2 Napoli. And are they Leicester qualify or not qualify in the Champions League, or you don't know?
Not bothered.
Okay. No, I'm bothered because we play against them on Sunday, so I went to see them exhausted.
Wait, what I'm interested to see is that Leicester were actually playing tonight. They were playing tonight, especially when they were saying yesterday and this morning that they've got a lot of COVID-19 cases.
Yeah, and Spurs had more cases, and they got their game postponed. Yeah. So I hope that our game is not postponed, and that we get,
But they are playing now with Napoli. They are playing now with Napoli, so
yeah. So they can't complain. They can't complain on Sunday that they haven't got a squad.
Yeah.
Because the players, they're playing tonight, so it's proof that they can play. They've got enough players to play. So, yeah, let's hope they get a few more cases and that they've got a very reduced team on Sunday.
No, we didn't want to get to the level they will postpone the game.
No. Get to a level where they've got no players
All right, let's back to the pictures, and I noticed Manchester City also. Same Manchester City.
Dave, didn't they also have one that's close to that 1885-86?
Yeah.
That looks like another one that they did in like the 90s.
That was one of the away strips.
Yeah,
that was one of the away strips from the Michael Owen era as well.
Yes.
What with the orange lineup?
The orange line, yeah. That
That's
was
weird.
one of our away strips that we had a few years ago. But as you can see from this, that's our first strip as Newcastle United. Red socks, white shorts, red top. Luckily, it's not red and white stripes.
Yeah.
That's a Magpies, real Magpies, black, white, and blue.
Originally it was navy blue shorts. For years it was navy blue shorts.
يعني كانت باللون الأزرق.
The strip,
navy.
the black and white stripes came from the away strip or the second strip that they had for Newcastle East End. They did play in black and white. It was their away strip. So they used that occasionally. So when they set up the club to Newcastle United, they wanted to move away completely from West End and East End. They wanted a new image. So what they did is they adopted the black and white stripes.
And not just only this. Also, when I was reading, I get surprised that they were calling or voting for name Newcastle United, either United or Rangers or City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there was one of the original clubs in Newcastle was called Rangers. They were at the same time as the Tyneside Association. That was the 8 against 9. So the two clubs were Rangers and Tyneside Association. So what they did is then they merged and they became West End.
Mm-hmm.
So what they decided to do was to merge those two clubs. So technically, Newcastle United are a merger of 3-4 clubs.
Yeah. Well, I saw an article today, Dave, and maybe you've seen this, but it was an article from a couple of years ago, and it was arguing that Newcastle should be considered even older than 129 years this year because the so-called merger of East End and West End wasn't actually a merger. It was one club closing down and the other club absorbing the assets of that club. So essentially, we should move our birthday back, وليد, and say that we're like 140 years old and not 120.
1880, like I said, in 1881.
Yes.
West End was wound up.
Yeah, November.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And then they moved all their playing staff because they had a better playing staff because West End were getting bigger crowds because they had a better team.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a very good ground. So West End then were wound up and they moved all their playing side to East End because they had St. James's Park. They were playing on St. James's Park and they transferred the lease to Newcastle.
Yeah. I was joking in the chat today that we could have been called Heaton United because Heaton.
Yeah, because we're based at Heaton Stannington.
Yeah.
That club still exists today. It's still there. It's beside the Freeman Hospital.
Okay.
That club still exists.
Actually, East End, it was named Stanley County Durham, and they changed it to Newcastle East End. Yeah. Really interesting.
I don't know why. I don't know why a football team in Newcastle will be called Stanley.
Yeah.
Because it was, I think it was regarding the cricket. It was the cricket name or the something cricket club.
I wouldn't be. It's one of the things I've never understood as to why it was called Stanley, because it wasn't based anywhere near Stanley. Perhaps the person who owned it was the guy who possibly owns the coal mine in Stanley.
The area was called the Stanley Street Baker.
Ah, right. See, you've just found something I didn't know.
Yeah, I spent hours on these.
I never knew to
Really
write
enjoy.
Stanley.
All right. So I want to ask you, where did the navy short goes disappear?
Next one down.
All right. Why?
Why? I don't know. It's just like it looks better. I just think,
Yeah, it looks too busy where you have black and white stripe and then blue.
yeah,
Very clean.
yeah, very clean, very, very clean.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, يعني, I'm sorry to say this, but these colors is much more better than what I saw, يعني, lately.
Dave,
So,
what was-
the yellow and the purple.
Yeah. I want to know, when did they introduce the red letters on the back, the red numbers?
Oh, that was way back. That was back in the 1950s. We always had red letters. We always had red letters on the back, red numbers on the back of the strips.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the 1980s.
I saw Super Mac have number 9 in red as well. Shirt.
Yeah.
And what about when were names introduced? Because it wasn't always names on the back.
No, that again came with the Premier League.
80s,
Yeah.
yeah, 80s, 90s, yeah.
Yeah, that came with the Premier League in 1992, 93. It was one of the ways they could make more money because they charged £1 a letter. So honestly, you wouldn't believe it, but there's but each football club were back initially were responsible for their own numbering and their own lettering.
Yeah.
So everybody had their own different type of lettering and different fonts and different numbering.
Yeah.
But then the Premier League cottoned on that this is where they could make some money. So they then turned around and said, all numbers and all letters must now follow a Premier League set standard.
Yeah.
So, and then they claimed money from that. And if you look at numbers now, you'll always see the Premier League logo on the bottom of the number.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they then put their stamp on it. So I'm not sure if you've got one with that on, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, they've got the Premier League logo on the bottom of the number. That's when they started putting that on. So the Premier League were then making money out of the football clubs. So it was just another way. But Newcastle in the last few years have gone back to putting red numbers on, which is a great tradition.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great tradition.
Dave, when we are completely, which year, when we are completely go with the black shorts, which year?
1920.
1920s, yeah.
Okay. So, so all almost the same, just maybe the socks different or some design.
The socks have changed. My most favorite ever socks, would you believe, are 1973-74.
Is it here or next picture?
Yes, it's on the next picture. 1973-74. There you are, black and white striped socks.
Yeah. And Dave, I always think of the beginning whenever I look at like the 80s or 90s, beginning of Premier League 90s. I always reminisce well about the long sleeve kits.
Yes,
I like those long sleeve kits, and I wish they wouldn't have done away with them. I think they're canny.
yeah.
Which one is it? The one with the wide straps?
No, I'm not talking about anyone on this.
No. The one Dave like. Which one?
I can't. I'm like you, وليد. I'm like squinting to see what that is.
Okay, let's call them like which number, which row? First, second, third.
Second row down, second strip in.
Yeah, I think the same one. I like the wide one, the wide strips. Yeah, it's different and unique.
The black and white ones, they're the
brilliant.
ones. They're the ones Supermac wore.
Hoop socks. I like the hoop socks.
Yeah, hoop socks. But if you'd also notice, that was the first football strip that had a number on its shorts.
Yeah, number 5.
You see that?
Yeah.
the number on the shorts. That was the first time Newcastle put numbers on their shorts. So
yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I really liked. Which year was that?
I think that's 90. I think that's 73, 74.
Was number 5 was Bob Moncourt? Number 5? No.
Yeah, number 5 was Bob Moncourt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to love to have a short with number. I used to love to do that.
But it was a trend which was started by Leeds United in 71, 72, where Leeds United had tassels on their socks, like a little flag, which we used to tie their socks up, and then had their number on their socks and had the number on their shorts. So it was something Leeds United started, but we cottoned on and we put our numbers on the shorts. I think we were the first club to put our numbers on the shorts at the front. You know, I don't know why you would need a number on your shorts.
Yeah. And then how many years do we have Newcastle Brown Ale as a sponsor? Like 7 years?
We still didn't. We are here yet or not yet? I think.
I'm just opening this up.
Different logos with the star on it.
Well, the blue stars are just with the Brown Ale logo.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
the Brown Ale logo was from 1995 all the way through to 2000.
Okay.
So that was 1995 was the first year the Brown Ale logo came on.
And what was it right before that?
The one before that was McEwen's Lager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the strips. If you go back to 1985, 86, that's 1985, 86. Next one down, وليد. Yeah, bottom row. That's, you can see the
blue star.
The blue star. The blue star was when the breweries took over. That's when Keegan came back. So in August, October, this is one of the years where they changed the strip halfway through. You know, so and what they changed, if you look at the strip in August to October, next one down, وليد. The top line in August to October 1982. They changed the strips in October 1983 to October 1982 because they changed the stock. They changed the socks, so there was a different strip because they changed the socks, and that's when we started with Kevin Keegan as the player. So a new strip came in, and Kevin Keegan was sponsored by Newcastle Breweries, but Blue Star carried on until that year, up until 1985 to 86. And then, as you can see on the next step down, that's the badge. You can see the next one down, which is the first one on the middle row, is the patch that they give us. They changed the strip and they give us a patch, that white patch, to put over the Blue Star. So because we'd all bought strips with Newcastle with Blue Star on, and then we changed the sponsor to Greenall's Breweries.
Oh yeah.
So we had to put that sticker on the front. We had to put a sticker on the front of our shirts. But then if you go down to the next row, it's when we became no, next one up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's when we became known as the barcodes, because the strips resembled shopping barcodes.
Yes.
Thin stripes and the thick black stripes.
Yeah, that's kind of unique, but
so that's why we got called the barcodes by Sunderland.
Oh, okay. All right, next one.
Yeah.
Same barcode as beginning as well?
Yeah.
3 years barcode.
Yeah, 3 years of barcodes. Yeah.
Okay.
Napoli beat Leicester.
Yes, 3-2, and I think Napoli celebrating. So I think Leicester, they are maybe going to Europe League, or maybe I don't know.
No, they're only in the Europa. They're only in the Europa League, so that means
Yeah,
they're out. That means they're out of Europe. They'll be out now. They'll have been knocked out.
No. I mean, if they are 3 position, they will go to Europe League. If they are 4th, they are not.
Are they in the? I don't think they're not in the Champions League, are they?
No, that's the shit.
Leicester-
That's.
Well,
Oh yeah, that's the. Oh, sorry, a mistake. I thought it's Wednesday.
They're in the Europa League.
Oh
so
yeah,
if
that's
they've got-
Europe League. Yeah.
Then they're finished. They're out.
I see. Yeah. Sorry. So okay, we have now 2000. I think.
Yeah, we've got strips here from the middle row is when we started adding colour to our strips. 1997 to 1999. If you can see there, if you look at the years, I believe the years for them strips were 1995 to 1997, right?
Yeah.
That's when we were doing home strips every 2 years, not every
Okay.
year.
Yeah. But maybe different logo sometimes.
Yeah, and then we have the brown ale logos, because that there is the that's the shirt that Chris is holding up. With the granddad collar.
I'm fixing the buttons.
Yeah, 95, 97. And there was a strip every 2 years. And then in 97, 99, so again, 2 years, they added the gold. Yeah, Chris loves that shirt, like, doesn't he?
I can't hold it up straight. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I just love. Yeah, it's cool with the Adidas. I like the logo.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the big shield on the back, but
No, Chris, I loved it. I thought it made it stand out. It made us look different.
It has to have a number on it. If you just have
Yes.
you just have it without the number, it looks weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my only kit that I got personalized. And this kit was, I think I ordered this from the US to the UK, and they sent it to me.
Ironic from US.
Yes, it was. Like I say, that year was when we started adding colours to the strips, gold, the blue.
I just there's not really a kit that I liked after that. Yeah, really. I'm really liked one since.
No, there's not a lot of strips after that one which inspire.
Yeah, because I mean, you get into the Michael Owen one, and then you're in the Ashley era.
Yeah, the 2009, 2010 strip is probably the last one I liked.
Yeah, it was just because, I mean, I think we had our best skits were under Adidas, and we didn't have a good Puma one.
No, never had a good Puma one.
And now British say Puma.
Puma.
This is next one. Go to next one.
So, what do you think, Dave? Do you think we will get rid of obviously we're going to get rid of Fun 88 next year, but do you think that they'll stick with Castor? And it's not Castore, it's Castor.
Castor,
yeah. I know it sounds like Castor, like Italian. But what do you think? Do you think that they'll see how they come up with a new one for next year and then evaluate, or they'll just say we want Adidas and or Nike because we're now like the richest club?
I don't know.
I think they're nice. I think the kits are nice. It's a big improvement of Puma.
Yeah, I like the strip they've got here. This is quite different.
And they make a lot of colors and designs. Just they want to promote the new company.
Mm-hmm.
I remember beginning of the season, the fans says we have more shirts more than the signings.
Like I have one, Dave. I only ever bought one of like the authentic like player ones, whatever. Like they charge you like 30 quid more for the players edition, and you've got like the badges and stuff on them. But the one that I got, it's like if I wear it, it's like painted on me. It's much slimmer. I think it's like the difference between the replica large and the authentic large is like 2 sizes.
Yes, definitely.
So I can't hardly wear that one.
No. Even this one, I got this one in the size I would normally get, and I realized it's a little bit smaller than I was used to.
Yeah, I got to say,
so it's a bit tighter. So
Dave Harrison says, loving this shirt parade. I have many of the older ones.
Yeah.
Yes, and Dave Harrison, if you are happy to make maybe we'll do soon a next show regarding share some of the shirt parade as well with you.
Yeah. Dave,
so
there's a lot of people got a lot of the shirts, and some of the shirts are quite rare now, and they're fetching lots of money.
This is almost like this is my favorite third one of actually. This one.
Yeah, the black and gold, I think.
And then my favorite away one was obviously like it was the same as almost the same as the other one.
Yeah, and I noticed many teams they have the third away black and gold. Many teams all over the world.
Yeah.
This is last picture before we go to the information, Dave. What we are seeing here.
I have like 6 shirts next to me now.
Yeah, these ones are from 2016.
Yeah, pretty familiar because we really witnessed it.
Yeah, these are
speaking myself.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Look how blue that logo is. It's just going from Wonga, which is the worst one, worst sponsor, to 188.
Yeah.
But you notice this year in the middle, I can't really see, but it's they add the blue or the navy to the socks.
Yes.
Yeah.
First appearance.
Or actually, Virgin Money. I didn't like that one either.
No, I didn't like Virgin Money on them either. But it's one of these marketing exercises about putting blue and gold into the strips. Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I've always wanted a Newcastle strip from the 1970s. It's the dark red strip they played in when they played against Hereford.
Yeah.
That's a Newcastle strip I'd love to own.
We've asked Malcolm McDonald about that one on the show, the Thursday night show that Steve does.
Yeah. Another one I liked was the blue one they used in the same year. They had a blue one with white collar, beautiful shirt. You know, they were like a nice royal blue. But I don't think we should be putting colours onto the home shirt. The home shirt, to me, we've been black and white since 1894. Let's keep it like that. Let's keep it black and white. If the sponsor's a different colour, then fair enough. But for the home strip, we're black and white. There should be an equal number of white stripes and an equal number of black stripes.
Yes.
You know, let's keep
and
it.
Not the thick ones. Thinner is better.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's hard to read.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, but what is the last picture? Is it which year?
That's
now.
the last 2 years.
This year and the last year, yeah.
Yeah.
The famous number 4 shirt.
Yeah, the famous number 4 shirt, exactly.
I have mine unbuttoned.
Okay, so here we have interesting facts Dave. So,
I didn't know that it's my army on the inside.
can we start? If
if you want to, I'll read them out. So if you want to go to it, I'll read them out.
Yes, let's go with number one.
Fact number one: the first recorded game of football on Tyneside took place on the 3rd of March, 1877, at the Elzig Rugby Ground. It was a bunch of lads who got together and formed 2 scratch teams, which I've already mentioned. It was 8 players against 9 players, with the 9 players winning 2-0. And shortly after that, the Tyne Association was formed in 1877. So that was the first real club football team that belonged to Newcastle, the Tyne Association, in 1877. Point 2, in 1892, when
Red and white.
When Newcastle joined the Football League, we played in red and white. Red shirts, white shorts, red socks. You've seen that picture.
This is after United. After United,
yes. 1892, after the clubs were united. In May 1892, East End's application to join the Football League attracted only 1 vote. Sounds familiar, does it not? Sounds familiar that obviously even as far back as 1892, the football authorities didn't want Newcastle as part of their little club, their little cartel back in 1892.
Maybe Richard Master grandfather.
But what they did decide that they did offer us a place in the 2nd division, which we declined, by the way. We declined their offer to join the 2nd division because we thought we were a bigger club than being second class. Following that, on a meeting of the 9th of December in 1892.
Yeah, it's 129 years ago.
129 years ago, Newcastle United was born. Curiously, though, although the name was recognised by the FA, it was not until 1895 that Newcastle United was legally constituted. Technically, that was when Newcastle were fully formed. Again, seems like even back then, the football governing bodies had something against us. 1892 to 1895, we were persona non grata.
Yeah, and it was in September 6th, I believe.
Yes.
18, yeah.
The city's coat of arms first appeared on the team shirts for the first time in the 1910 Cup final. So the logo that Newcastle City Council has was the first time that appeared on the strip. But while it was actually on the strip,
which one from these?
The very
first
top one. The very top one.
The first one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first time the club badge appeared on the strip. It wasn't until a year later that the badge changed. But it wasn't until 1969 that the shirt that Newcastle wore a logo on their shirt for league matches. So it was quite a long time. So they wore logos on their shirts for the cup finals, but not for the league matches. Fact number 6. George Robledo was the first South American player to play in the English First Division when he signed from Newcastle in 1949. He was soon followed by his brother Eduardo. George and Eduardo, they were the first South American players in the English First Division. And they'd moved, his whole family had moved to Barnsley, I think it was. It was Barnsley. They moved to Barnsley in Yorkshire. And we actually signed him from Barnsley. But Barnsley weren't a back in 1910 they weren't a prominent football team. So
this is really interesting. So this is Santiago Menezes stories have more history before. Which country, if you recall, Dave?
They're
from South America.
Both the Robledo brothers came from Chile.
طبعا جورج ريبولدو كان أول لاعب من أمريكا الجنوبية يلعب في الدوري الإنجليزي في الدرجة الأولى لما وقع نيوكاسل عام 1949. وبعدين لاحقا شقيقه إدواردو تيد طبعا كان هذا الكلام كانوا لاعبين من دولة تشيلي. Interesting.
Fact number 7, Francisco Hernandi Lima da Silva, better known as Mirandina, was the first Brazilian to play football in the first division, or in the English football. Mirandina was the first Brazilian ever to play. So Newcastle again were leading the way. Mirandina had been playing for Brazil against England at Wembley, and Mirandina scored a goal. He scored the only goal of the game when he broke free, and then he kicked the ball with the outside of his boot around the goalkeeper into England's net. And we actually went to buy, based on that, Liam McFall decided that we wanted to buy Mirandina. So Mirandina joined Newcastle. He was the first Brazilian ever to play football in the English leagues. So there you go again, Newcastle leading the way. First
Brazilian. This is really very news for me. Interesting.
Number 8. This one's a famous one. A lot of people might already know this, but Rob Lee was persuaded by Kevin Keegan to sign for Newcastle instead of Middlesbrough after Keegan told Rob Lee that Newcastle was closer to London. It's a good job Rob Lee's geography wasn't his best subject at school. As we all know,
Dave, I've heard stories about this. And
is it true? No, not true. Is it true?
I heard that the qualification was that you could take a direct train from London to Newcastle, but to get to Middlesbrough, you'd have to change trains. So with the layover, the total time that it took to travel, including layover, was shorter to Newcastle than it was to change trains and get to Middlesbrough.
Plus, we also had direct flights from Newcastle to London, whereas Middlesbrough Teesside Airport was just a little
puddle jumper.
Yes, exactly.
I will translate this to part. طبعا نقطة اللي هو فرانسيسكو إرناندي ليما معروف بميرندينها، كان هو أول لاعب برازيلي برضو يلعب في الدوري الإنجليزي عام 1987. كان نيوكاسل طبعا هو السباق في هذه الأمور. كان يلعب للمنتخب البرازيلي وسجل هدف أعتقد في ويمبلي في مباراة أمام المنتخب الإنجليزي. أيضا اللاعب الكبير روبلي تم إقناعه عن طريق كيفن كيغن، أسطورة كيفن كيغن، إنه يوقع عشان نيوكاسل. فعشان يقنع كيفن كيغن، عشان يقنع روبلي، قال له ترى نيوكاسل أقرب، لأنه كان في منافسة بين نيوكاسل وميدلسبرا، إنه ترى نيوكاسل أقرب للندن من ميدلسبرا. فيقول لك إن لحسن الحظ إنه لي ما كان كويس في الجغرافيا، لأنه يبدو إنه غير صحيح هذه المعلومة. لكن كريستوفر يقول إنه قد يكون المعنى إنه القطار المباشر من نيوكاسل لندن عكس ميدلسبرا، ما كان في قطار مباشر، لازم تغير بالقطارات.
It's not as far as Brighton, mind.
Oh my God! Here we are again.
Every time we talk about trains, I think about وليد. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder when you will forget about that.
Never.
So maybe after 100 years, my grandson will do the show for Newcastle and says, "My grandfather missed the Brighton bus 100 years ago." Okay.
Number 9.
Okay, number 9.
Yeah. Newcastle's club photographer invented the windscreen wiper that we all have on our cars these days in 1908. Gladstone Adams, he was the official photographer, and he'd come up with it when he was actually traveling to one of the games and he couldn't see out of his car window, and he came up with the idea of car windscreen wipers.
I'm not sure what is it. What is that?
What's that?
What is windscreen wipers?
Wait,
for the cars.
on the car.
Yeah.
You not got them on your. You not got them on your car in Saudi.
No, we are. But what's okay? He's a club photographer. He invented.
Yes.
Okay.
Our club photographer invented windscreen wipers.
Okay.
So every time you see the windscreen wiper,
What is that?
what's that? Party?
No, I think my daughter asked.
Boris Johnson's having a party.
I think my daughter requested a song.
So
Is it loud? Is it loud? Or?
every time every time you see your windscreen wiper doing that, right? You can say Newcastle invented that. Newcastle fans invented that.
Yeah, well, it says his version of the windscreen wiper was never manufactured. His original prototype can be seen in Newcastle's Discovery Museum.
Yeah. I wanted to take Al-Waleed there because Al-Waleed's hotel was just across the road from the Discovery Museum.
Yeah, actually,
he was too busy signing autographs and taking photographs.
Did you stay in
actually, my hotel. I hear information. I think from Steve History. He told me that the area of the hotel, it was a Brown Alley factory, something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Before. So, yeah.
What hotel did you stay at?
Holiday Inn Express.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all that land down there was all part of the brewery site. It was more like tenements where your hotel is. It's where, if you remember when I showed you the Sandeman Hotel,
Yeah.
and all those buildings that are going up around by the Sandeman Hotel, all those buildings that are used by students now, they were all part of the brewery. It was one of the biggest breweries actually in the UK, and that's where they made brown ale and a lot of other different types of beers as well. But yeah, that was a big site. But the Discovery Museum was actually over the road from your hotel. You could have gone in. You know, it's a free museum. You know, so.
طبعا النقطة التاسعة مصور النادي هو اللي اخترع اللي هو المساحات عام 1908 يعني عنده براءة اختراع and his name is Gladstone Adams. Okay, Dave, number 10.
Number 10, the last one. Newcastle hold the joint record for the biggest scoreline in English football when we beat Newport County in the old second division 13-0 on the 15th of October 1946.
And I remember we played against them last year or 2 years ago, and we hardly win 1-0, I believe.
Yeah, we won just 1-1. I think it was just
1-1, and we win the penalties maybe.
Yeah, it was one of the cup games. Yeah. And of course, the last part is obviously just about the club's logos.
Yeah.
Like I say, the first logo is the 1910 FA Cup final logo. And that was the first time it was ever used. The next logo down, the next crest down, it's a slightly different version. But that was used for the 1911. But it was used for FA Cup games only, or FA Cup finals only.
Yeah.
And it didn't appear on the football shirt until 1969-70.
Which is where close to the current one. Closest to the current one.
What was that?
It's kind of closest to the current one.
It is, yes. It's probably one. That and the one that was used in 1969 are probably the ones that are most current.
Yeah.
But if you notice, there's a slight difference between the one in 1911 to the one in 1969, and that is the pennant being held by the griffin, by the lion. The pennant in 1911 is it's a white pennant with a red cross, supposed to signify St. George. But the one in 1969 is a dark blue pennant with a red cross, because we didn't want the flag associated as being Newcastle's colours, which was obviously red and white with Sunderland. So we didn't want to be associated with Sunderland, so we changed the pennant to a navy blue background, and that's always been the same ever since.
Good move. Good move.
Yeah, and the next one down is it's a crest which was never ever used on a football strip. It was actually only ever used on official documents and merchandise, and it's very similar to what we have now with a shield in the middle, the black and white stripes. But if you also notice, the seahorses have been replaced by two magpies, which is when the magpies were first used on our strip. So, and we've got two magpies because we always they sing the song, one for sorrow, two for joy.
Yeah.
So we always say there should always be two magpies on Newcastle shirt. It should always be two magpies, because one only signifies sorrow.
Yeah.
And until we go back to that date, I don't think we'll ever succeed, because we always it's a big thing about what do you call it? Suspicion, superstition.
Yeah.
Superstition in Newcastle. It's always about, if you see a magpie, you're supposed to salute the magpie. You're supposed to salute them, fingers to the forehead. Good morning, Mr. Magpie. I hope your wife's doing well, because you've got to treat that as an individual. So that was the first, but it was never ever used on anything on any strip. It was only ever used for merchandising and for documentation. And in 1976, the next one down.
Now you will speak about the last one, right?
There's 1976 is the one where it's a round circle with a one magpie in.
Yeah, I want to ask about this. Why I see it a lot, and I think a lot of people put it as well as Avatar.
Keith Patterson, NCSL.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those badges which people liked. It's just one of those. It's supposed to represent the magpies. It's got the castle in the background, and it's got the River Tyne in the front. So it was adopted. The football club adopted its own crest. So it was typical of the time, being a round badge, very typical of the time. But the next one down, the one in 1983, with the NUFC, with the C being upside down, that was supposed to signify moving forward and being one of the, better, good times coming for Newcastle, of being a progressive club
and popular as well. It's popular as well. I saw it a lot. Yeah.
It was a lot of people liked it, but it didn't prove very popular with a lot of people because it resembled too much like Leeds United. Leeds United is it's virtually the same. And then the last crest is the current one. That's the one that was created, and as you can see, it's gone back to having the two seahorses on with the blue pennant and Newcastle United underneath. So we've gone back to traditional, and that badge is now being representative of our football club for more than 20 years. It has changed slightly because of the 125 years. And I think Chris has got one he can show you. I think it's on his black strip.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm so bad at
Other way, Chris. Other way. Yeah. That's got the logo on, and that one celebrated our 125th birthday.
So we're expecting something next year.
Maybe, yeah, could be.
I mean,
And then of course
we like 25s, 150, 175. I don't think 130 will be a big.
No, I don't think so either. But we don't. I was trying to tell our وليد, we don't tend to celebrate like the single years. You know, our وليد might have started a new trend by celebrating Newcastle's birthday every year. Could be a good idea.
And next year, the badge will add the word Korea in Arabic, freedom.
Actually, I think that for me, it's of course, we respect this day because all the information we shared, history, big history. We are talking about more than 100 years ago. But I think maybe if there is a date for celebration, it's gonna be 7th of October.
Yeah.
Yes.
7th of October is going to be. Yeah, it's always going to be a big day. And I think
it'll be like the Guy Fawkes Day in the North. remember the 7th of October.
Everybody's going to be burning effigies of Mike Ashley in Sports Direct signs.
Yes, well, you had. I saw on Twitter that Guy Fawkes was trending yesterday because people were like, maybe he had the right idea about blowing up Parliament because of flouting the restrictions last year during the Christmas party.
Yeah, good old Guido, folks.
That was brilliant, lads. Last part of the show is the few pass in the comments. We have Christopher here say, وليد, can you send me the StreamYard link? Actually, we were wondering, me and Dave, is Christopher joining us or not? Because we didn't maybe speak about it, but we are glad that you join us, Chris.
I gate crashed.
That's okay, Chris. It's a good laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take over from our وليد.
وليد, did you get Ferrero Rocher chocolate though? The post. I don't know what this is about. I saw. It was nice. Just about. I asked something in Twitter, and they said, "I said, what's inside this? It says for everybody." I just asked. The fans are so nice. I just asked, "What is that?" And they said, "It's Ferrero Rocher. Do you have same in Saudi Arabia or not? We were gonna send you." Thank you for this gesture, but I really know what is it, Ferrero Rocher. Thank you very much.
Before you left Newcastle, I tried to get you some traditional Newcastle sweets. They're called Jesmona Black Bullets. But I couldn't find anywhere where they sold them, but I have found them now. And if you send me your address, I will send you some of these Jesmona.
I will remind this. Remember this. Hopefully, I will come to Newcastle before season end. To celebrate not going relegated. Thank you, Tom. Evening, Tom. Happy birthday, Ian. Happy birthday to the tune. It's certainly happy times with having our new owners and seeing all Ashley. Okay. Can't wait to get a new shirt with a new sponsor. Haven't bought one in over 10 years. Wow, Ian, that's a long time. Been boycotting Ashley Empire. Dave, good evening, chaps and chatters. Hope you are well. Thank you, Dave. Kilichi, didn't you? I use the berets.
Oh, that's good.
All out for Leicester tonight for against. No, maybe this saving them for the game, or do you think because of COVID?
Come on, I will say all those names.
Okay, why? Okay, Kilichi, Hinacho, Ayuso Perez, Ademola Lukman, Janik Fitzgerald, Daniel Amarati, Flip Pinkovic, Vunti Delay, Campbell are all out for Leicester tonight.
Good job.
Good lad. Yay.
Excellent.
Hi Tom. Just hope they are well out for Sunday as well.
Yeah.
Could set up a company called the Premier League are corrupt and get them to be our new share sponsor.
Yeah. What do you think about Gary Neville and what he had to say on his show the other night? Because Gary Neville,
I didn't see what did he say?
Yeah, he said about the Big Six, and they said we know. He said we know that Glazers, Abramovich, and Levy, they are running the Premier League. Everybody knows that. This is what he said.
Yeah.
So and Keith Peterson comment about it that now, people have more dare to say this, and really, just it wasn't just was as hush hush. Now it's all over the way.
Yeah, when I seen what he was putting on, and I'd actually copied Keith into it, I said, this is what we were saying a year ago. There was a cartel, there was corruption going on, the Big Six. Nobody listened to her. Nobody listened. And then Gary Neville come up to Newcastle, sat outside Shearer's bar, and was talking to Holly and a few other people. And I think he got the first taste that there was something rotten going on at the Premier League. But now for him to be saying that, he's just stolen Keith's thunder. Keith brought it Keith was the one that brought it. His letters, his cat case, but if it's now getting out there, and if Gary Neville's spreading that word that the Premier League is corrupt, that the Big Six are running the game for their own benefit, can only benefit the smaller teams. It can benefit everybody, all the other 14 teams, and as well as the other teams in the English leagues, because the Big Six will be found out.
Yeah, I agree totally.
And he also, speaking a lot about the big picture project, the failed big picture project as well.
Yeah, that was.
I like that plan. Craig, hating Stannington are top of the second division Northern League.
Yeah. And like I say, they're still in existence. They're still playing. Heaton Stannington, top of the round by Paddy Freeman's Park, not far from Freeman Hospital. Little ground, you wouldn't know it was there. Good team.
I'm not sure what is this. Maybe some mistake. Fast take. Maybe some sponsor or I don't know what is that.
I think it's spam.
Spam. Okay.
No.
Harrison, Dave Harrison, loving the Sheriff Parade. Thank you for Dave for the pictures, and thank you, Christopher.
We should have got Chris to model them all.
Actually,
give us a twirl, Chris. Give us a twirl.
Actually, Christopher, Dave here, he said I have a lot of older ones, so maybe we can do a live show, parade with Christopher.
Yes,
if you are up for it, Dave, please chat with us, and we will arrange something together.
I think between Dave and Dave and I, we could cover a lot of years. Yeah.
Brilliant. Stephen, I think the Six threatened the Premier League by saying we will leave the Premier League if you don't stop Newcastle take over.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
Halas, get them to go.
We didn't know this.
Bye.
All right, last few minutes, Leicester game, lads. Once the takeover was believed to stop. Right. So Leicester game, Dave. What do you expect with this? Now I think Eddie Howe now really grabbed the team in order. I think he knows more the players where they should play. They know the level. I think now he know everyone where the appropriate place or position to play.
Yeah.
So
you're right. I think there's Eddie Howe. Today I was watching a video of Newcastle training yesterday. You know, and it was great to see Eddie Howe in the background. You know, some of the comments he was making. Yeah, come on, we're cooking now. We're cooking now. You know, because the players were playing really tight 1-2s and stuff like that, and they were working really, really hard, and you could see that coming out, and you could see Eddie Howe really, you know, he was really pushing the players and supporting them. You could see they were so much more fitter than what they were under Steve Bruce, which is it's hard to believe, really, because Steve Bruce was a great fitness coach.
Yeah, I really noticed they were dragging their foot before, but now they are so active, so alive.
Oh yeah, they are so alive to where they're going to be. So I think the way he's got them playing, and now he's got them under his belt. He's had them under his belt for a few weeks since he come back from COVID. I think he could. You know, we won at Leicester last year, didn't we? We won 4-2 at Leicester last year.
Yeah.
I can't see it being 4-2 this year, but I do think that we are capable of coming away with the result.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're capable of coming away with the result.
I said, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry,
What about you, Chris?
I'm going to be consistent on the fan forum on Steve's fan forum with Pete and Chris. I said I went for a Stu Penman 3-1 Newcastle.
Actually, Stu Penman, he said I will do this anymore. I think he said it's bad luck, so he expect 1-0. I think, and really we get 1-0 last game.
Well, I will. If he's not going to do it, I will carry on the Stu Penman.
I think if the game goes ahead, if Leicester haven't got COVID and they postpone the game, I think there's a good chance of a 1-0 as well, 1-0 away. I think there's a good chance of a 1-0 away.
Leicester, I believe they are, they're becoming more forward player. There is distance behind. They are not very defensive lately. This is how I see Leicester. So hopefully we get a chance.
Sure.
It's depend how we can start and are we going to score or doing a good defense.
And there's news coming out of Aberdeen today that looks like Matty Longstaff may be coming back to Newcastle in January. He hasn't been playing for Aberdeen.
But do you think he'll go on a different loan then? I don't think he'll be in there.
No, because he only signed a 1-year contract extension, he's going to be. I think he'll come back in January. And Eddie Howe said tonight that he wants to look at him, he wants to talk to him, he wants to give him a chance, you know, to prove himself to him. But it's in a way, to me, it's good news because I think he's a decent young player, and I think he was bruised, and then he'd gone to Aberdeen, and I think he's heart dropped because he thought he had a chance of playing playing for Newcastle, and he's half dropped, and I just don't think he's been the same player ever since.
Yeah,
so he didn't get. He wasn't even in the squad for Aberdeen on Saturday when they played St Mirren. So, to me, I think that says that he's coming back because we don't want our players that we put out on loan sitting on the bench or not playing games. We want that. We need them to be playing games.
Yeah, I think we'll send Freddie Woodman out on loan. Now that our goalkeeper situation is settled.
Yeah. So there's a few players coming
the
back.
concert getting hopefully this broadcast doesn't get a copyright strike because of all the music.
Oh no, I didn't thought of that. Hopefully no.
No.
I forgot to ask you what you expect for next year design of the shirts with the Saudi sponsor. I'm not saying about the sponsor. I'm saying about the design. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to keep it black and white, or maybe some have a away kit from Classic? Maybe.
Yeah, no. of course the home kit's gonna be black and white. I would want to go away from the wide stripe, few wide stripe. I want to go back to the many smaller stripes.
It would be interesting to see. I don't think they would go for any green and white, which would represent the Saudi flag.
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of logo or colours that PIF have, and there may be some sort of incorporation of the PIF into the colours. And we've played in green, we've played in blue, we've played in purple, we've played in, what chance there might there be if that we use some of the sponsors' colours? Aramco are green and blue, aren't they?
Yeah,
Aramco are green and blue, so it could be all. Yeah,
I'm not going to make a prediction about what the shirt will look like. The strip. I just know that if it's Castore or somebody else, it's going to look classy and clean and canny, and because it'll probably be the best-selling shirt we've had at least 15 years. Not before Mike Ashley.
Yeah. Anything before Mike? I go back to anything before Mike Ashley.
Yes.
All right, lads. Thank you very much for. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this brilliant night. 2 hours of full information, history, and recent events. Thank you for listening, and thank you for participating with us tonight. Newcastle United anniversary 129. 9 December. Happy birthday, Newcastle. Away the lads, and we are not gonna be relocated. Have a nice
Eid Milad.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, lads.
You too. Have a nice weekend. Cheers.
Yeah, lads.
And we're not gonna be relegated.
No, we're not gonna be relegated.
Oh, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June 1862 on a summer's afternoon. We took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We flew past Armstrong's factory and up to the rock.
Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, yes, it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne.
بالنسبه لما يجيك ستيف بروس مثلا يحط لك 5 في خط الدفاع ويلعب مهاجمين.
Excuse me,
اللاعبين اللي في النص.
what is your VPN?
My VPN?
Yes.
My VPN is Spider VPN.